It's hard to fathom, but time really does fly when you're having fun, or in this case, when you're the owner of an iPad mini 6. It's been nearly an year now since the release of the iPad mini 6, and I've used this iPad almost every single day over the course of the year. I've used this iPad more than my M1 iPad Pro, I've used it more than my iPhone, and I've used it more than my laptop, because quite frankly, that's just how much I love using this miniature iPad. But at the same time, I also do believe there are some things that can be improved in the next iteration. So now that the honeymoon phase is over, let's go over some shortcomings of the Mini 6, and then we'll dive into reasons why I absolutely love the iPad Mini 6, coming from an M1 iPad Pro user. How's it going, everyone? My name is RJ, and let's start off this video by taking a look at some shortcomings of the Mini 6. Starting off with the smart connector, or the lack thereof. The Mini 6 doesn't come with a smart connector, meaning that this can't be attached to peripherals like a Magic Keyboard. I understand and I get that a lot of us like to type on a full-size keyboard anyways, but for myself personally, I don't mind typing on a smaller keyboard. I've quite honestly gotten used to typing on the smaller Magic Keyboard on the 11-inch iPad Pro. Over the course of the year, as I do get accustomed to typing on a smaller keyboard, I find myself making less mistakes and being a lot more efficient while typing out essays and the occasional email. But the way that I see it is, Apple's intention for the Mini 6 was to never have this tablet replace our actual computers or the Pro variants of iPads. A major appeal of the Mini 6 is of course the size. This iPad is meant to shoot out the occasional email, it's to tweet the occasional tweet, and to communicate with our friends and family members on Telegram or iMessage using the virtual keyboard. I do find typing on the virtual keyboard to be a lot easier when I'm using this knockoff version of the Smart Folio keyboard cover. This case right here enables you to fold your iPad in an optimal angle so you can type on it with ease. If you are interested in this knockoff version of the Smart Folio keyboard cover, there is a link in the description below. For the majority of my use case, I'm using the Mini 6 without a case, no pun intended. I love to just kick back on the couch and use this thing worry-free. So it's imperative that I do have a skin on the back of my iPad to prevent it from getting all scratched up. I get a lot of questions on YouTube and Twitter about the skin that I'm using. This is from Dbrand, and let me be the first to tell you, if you don't have thick skin, you may want to stay away from Dbrand's Twitter account. They are pretty savage on there, and I have seen them make some grown men cry, so you have been warned. But nonetheless, they do make some really good skins. The one that I have on is called Mellow Yellow. I love the way it makes my iPad pop without it looking like a cry for attention. If you want to get something similar or even the exact same skin, once again, I have a link for you guys in the description below. Something I still haven't been able to get used to though is the placement of the volume rockers. They are placed off to the bottom left, and even after an year of daily use, it still doesn't make sense to me. On my M1 iPad Pro, the volume rockers are found on the top left, which to me positionally makes a lot of sense. But the thing is, the Mini 6 is compatible with the second generation Apple Pencil. So with the Apple Pencil attached to the top, there isn't enough space to access the volume rockers. So technically speaking, there is no other volume rocker placement on this iPad that would make sense. But for some reason, my brain just hasn't been able to get used to the positioning. Speaking of the Apple Pencil, many of you don't know this, but there are some great alternative options out there that won't break the bank. The second generation Apple Pencil costs $129 here in Canada. That's about 1/5 of the price of the Mini 6. This is where the sponsor of today's video comes in handy, the A4 Penoval A4 Stylus. This is an Apple Pencil killer, coming in at 1/4 of the price of the Apple Pencil. Your purchase comes with the stylus, 2 replacement nibs, and 1 USB-C charging cable. You're able to quick charge the A4 in 6 minutes for about an hour of use. It does have power indicators built in, letting you know the battery status. It's also got tilt sensitivity, which mimics pencil sketching. This is a really useful feature if you are a sketch artist. The A4 Pro Stylus requires no setup in Bluetooth settings. It seamlessly connects to your iPad after tapping on the pencil. The A4 Stylus is capable of pixel level precision when writing, along with excellent palm rejection. The writing experience is smooth and fluid. There is no noticeable latency between the display and the stylus. Not to mention, the magnetic strength when attached to the top of your iPad is excellent. Like, this thing is not going anywhere. So if you're in the market for an Apple Pencil and you want to save some money and get an excellent Apple Pencil alternative that does come in matte black or white, whichever you prefer, check out the link in the description below. You will not be disappointed. Another shortcoming of the Mini 6 is the peak brightness. The Mini 6's brightness peaks at a max brightness of 500 nits, which, don't get me wrong, is more than good enough for indoor use. But there have been a few instances over the course of the year where I've taken my Mini 6 with me outdoors, and I did wish the screen was a little bit brighter. I've read on online forums that some people do use the Mini 6 as a viewfinder when flying their drones, and they have had issues with the display visibility in sunny conditions. If you're well versed in the tech universe, then you've definitely heard of an issue plaguing the Mini 6 called jelly scrolling. If you don't know what jelly scrolling is, it's exactly what it sounds like. Jelly scrolling is when one half of the device's display refreshes noticeably slower than the other half, which then results in a wobbly like staggered effect. effect, hence the name jelly scrolling. To me, I find jelly scrolling really interesting. This isn't an issue I've encountered before with any other Apple displays, and I've been through a ton of Apple devices. And to answer your question, yes, jelly scrolling is very much prominent on the Mini 6, but does it bother me? To be quite honest, no, it doesn't. You see, the way that I use my iPad doesn't require much scrolling whatsoever. It's pretty much stagnant on-screen use. I don't really use this iPad too much for social media scrolling, so I'm rarely, if ever, able to notice the jelly scrolling effect. I use my Mini 6 in combination with the iPhone 13 mini. And as an iPhone mini user, this is the next best combo ever since LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. The iPad Mini 6 is such a practical, portable powerhouse of a tablet. So what are some of the advantages of the iPad Mini 6, you ask? Well, to me, it's a term that I've coined all by myself called bedability. The Mini 6 is the perfect iPad for optimal bedability. I can comfortably take this iPad to bed with me, open up the Kindle app, read a few pages, all in the comfort of my bed. I can see the Mini 6 being a Kindle reader for many users. It is sort of like a Kindle on steroids. So if you're in the market for a Kindle reader and you don't want to buy a Kindle, the Mini 6 is your next best option. The ultra portability of the Mini 6 makes this the ideal device for video calls. You'll have no issues holding up this iPad for 10 or so minutes while on a video call. The front-facing wide-angle camera does come with center stage, so no matter what position you hold the Mini 6 in, you can rest assured you're aligned and dead center in the frame. I love using the Mini 6 for video calls because I do find my iPhone to be too small. So once again, this combo is the perfect 1-2 punch. My favorite game of all time for mobile is Call of Duty, but on the Mini 6, it takes the gaming experience to the next level. The display is not too big where I'm unable to comfortably use it to play games on, but at the same time, it's not too small where I feel like I'm playing games on my phone. It's the perfect in-between, and that's what makes the iPad Mini 6 so special. Surprisingly, it can also handle graphic-intense games like Call of Duty Mobile with no issues whatsoever. To me, this is the perfect note-taking tablet. I absolutely love taking notes on this iPad. You're easily able to hold the Mini 6 in one hand while using the other hand to take a quick note without feeling any hand discomfort. It's also the perfect iPad to take with you to school or to work meetings. The size of the Mini 6 makes it very inconspicuous, so you don't feel like there's a barrier between you and your professor or you and that important client. No one's going to feel offended when you whip this thing out during a work meeting. I did have a chance to finally travel after being stuck at home for about 2+ years, and I have to say this is the perfect travel companion. I downloaded a bunch of movies off Netflix before I boarded my plane, and using the Mini 6 to watch movies on an 18-hour flight to Singapore was time well spent. It is hands down the perfect size iPad for travel. I can keep it on my carry-on without it taking up too much space or weight. It is a 10 out of 10 iPad for travel. Nothing comes close in my opinion. Overall, I would definitely still recommend the Mini 6 in 2022 as the iPad to get for most consumers who just want to use their tablet as well an iPad. There is no way this is going to replace your laptop entirely. It's more so of an add-on side accessory. It is the perfect iPad for basic use, which entails media consumption, a little bit of note-taking, gaming, and video conferencing. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Penoval. It is definitely a great Apple Pencil competitor that doesn't break the bank. If you made it till the end of the video, drop a peach emoji in the comments below so I know exactly who you guys are. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to flex with your iPad Mini 6.